materials that we use is found locally at the timber market. And when a client gives us a job, you go into the market and you make do with what is there. And once you have, because I'm a creative person, I'm able to see what the end products would be. And we adapt, we find locally sourced materials as much as possible. The only thing we have challenges sometimes are chemicals we work with, because that's imported. And so every time a shipment comes in and there's a change in currency, that affects, price, the prices, differentials that we have to deal with. But pretty much, aside that, everything you see is locally sourced. Yes.
Look for them, you found them locally. It's possible to look when you look, you'll find them.
So I think one of the reasons why a lot of the wood working factories have closed down, like Fairnart and Art Deco and Aquaba and almost all the woodworking companies, they didn't see, you should have vision, in a business, and you must see what will probably happen 10, 15 years from now. They didn't see changes in the market trends. Now you have all these cheap influx of furniture coming in from China. They didn't innovate. They didn't think that, maybe clients are now looking for cheaper products, so shouldn't we move to chipboard or they have little accents of wood here and there. So coming back to raw materials, I'm looking around every day for all sorts of things that we can use. I mean, once you're a creative person, you should be able to creatively adapt also to changes in the market as well.
You mentioned challenges with staff. How did you overcome that challenge?
It's a lot of, for me, being very disciplined yourself as a leader. If your no is no, it's no. Unfortunately, the level of artisans we work with, they have very limited educational background. So what we did was part of the systems that we put in place to have a solid HR manual. And we take them through everything that the law says. And it's funny, as uneducated as they seem to be, when it's time for them to demand what is rightfully theirs, they suddenly, seem very educated. So I said, okay. Yes, very true. They'll quickly take you to the labor office. Oh yeah, they're so smart like that, seemingly. So then I realized that you break it down to their level. You make sure that if you do this, I do that. If you do this, I do that, and you're 20 steps ahead all the time. Another thing, they're very quick to pilfer. They have this sense of entitlement, but they forget that also that you're paying them and this and that. So the HR manual really tied in a lot of the problems we're having with them. And I will quickly write you a letter according to what the labor law says. If I write 1, 2, 3, you're gone. So that sense of discipline and is very, very, very important, because I think generally as Africans we're very disciplined. So once you have that in place, everything runs like clockwork. And I get to work very early, 4-7. I'm at work. So if the boss is working in at 7, you work in at 8. If you come in at 1:08, I will note it and I'll take it out of your salary. Yes, and I do that too. Because at 8, my machines should be on. Because every minute I'm paying you per man hour. And they try all sorts of tricks, but once you let them know that there are rules and you must abide by the rules, they quickly change their mindset. And so that has really worked for us.
I have quite a list of questions, but you've answered most of them. There are still two. For what you said, clearly, I'm not being rude, but clearly it doesn't seem like school did much for you. So, do you wish now that perhaps you could have skipped school and started it?
Yeah. Because That's a very good point, because went to tech, I just knew that, oh, okay, I did O-level art. I didn't have to go all the way and then come back full circle, and interesting, there was a course at that time, was rural art, and it was a 2-year diploma. At that time, we used to laugh at them because we were doing a 4-year degree art program, but theirs was more hands-on, and so you find them doing all sort of products they could sell. Also have realized that you're doing all these courses and it's all theory based. It's no workplace experience, no practical experience. You're doing practical courses. And what we were saying is that with medicine you have to do, all these clinicals and workmanships and all. So arts and architecture pretty much is the same thing. From government work there is
I went to tech at the Cape,
yeah.
mid-70s stuff.
Yeah.
My roommates, they work metals are quite heavy.
Yeah, we're quite busy, fortunately, in the local market. I mean, people build every day. Family life and just generally your well-being. And if money is what drives you, then I don't think you have any business in setting up a business. But as entrepreneurs, we only do what we do because place, your business would collapse. So what I have found is that it would grow. I mean, currently I do a lot of work in Nigeria. I export a lot of my art. So that's, I've started exporting, but I have looked at what would bring me money. And when I looked at the market, I realized that the art scene in Nigeria is very vibrant. So I do that to balance out what we do here.
And you said something very interesting. You said that usually when you don't have systems in place, things may get out of hand.
Yeah.
I know that you travel occasionally. I'm wondering, and it's because 3 years ago I tried to get you for an interview with Melody,
Okay.
and you were traveling.
I travel.
And so, do you have managers you know, like you came with your friend here. But do you have managers at all? And you mentioned you go to Nigeria and you try to. Do you have managers, and are they what kind of people are they? Are they like-minded, or they are professionals, or they are artisans that you build the company with, or what kind of people are they? And how come in your exhibitions or whatever you try to do, you know, in your absence, they have been able to do what you need to do with the same passion?
That's a good point. Yeah, we do have systems in place. I have a core management staff. So Edmund is one of them. And then I have a finance manager. And then I have an office manager. We have a production manager. We have a floor manager. So we have, and then we have sectional heads. So we have a whole hierarchy. And we have all these systems, and everything clearly labeled out. So once you have that, you know, your business should run by itself. If the business cannot run by itself, then there's something wrong. Because you're talking about sustainability, and then one of the points I also, you know, building businesses that outlive its, you know, and it's such an African problem when the business owner dies and the business dies with it, you know. So when I'm not there, the business does run by itself. And the technology is, you know, makes you so accessible also. So we work also a lot online. So every minute I know what they're doing. Yeah. Okay.
I have a couple of questions. How do you get your clients? Are you embedded in the building and architecture community? That's when they have a project coming up, they link up with.
That's also very important. So the power of networking. You know, networking is something else. And you know, it's funny, one of my female colleagues was saying that a lot of deals are done in bars after work. But for a woman, you have to rush home to your family. So how do I network as a woman in business? So I work closely with a lot of my architect colleagues, and somehow, because they know that of course you can't be seen networking at certain places, it's a lot of subtle networking, you know, being very ladylike about it also. And usually when you find yourself amongst a lot of men, when they see that you're pushy and you're trying, they link you up to a lot and they take you on under their wings, and rather they actually open a lot of doors for you. So that has been really, really amazing. Yeah.
Coming back to the business aspects,
Yeah.
because I see you highly inclined to the art.
Yeah.
How were you able to get the business skills? Did you at some point get consultants?
Yes, that's a very good question. 5 years into my business, when I realized that, my goodness, I mean, I didn't understand accounting, a lot of HR, you know, everything that I needed to do as a business. We applied for a grant under the Ministry of Trade and Industry at that time. Had this business development services. It was a World Bank run project for businesses. So we applied and we got that grant, and the grant paid for a number of consultants, and they came in and they set up all those systems we use now. So we had an HR specialist, we had a marketing specialist, a finance specialist, an engineer who looked at productivity and floor management, and it was amazing, and that took our business to the next level, because now we were speaking the business language and understood. And you know, when 10 years, I realized that now we had reached the point where the company was growing, you know, it kind of like was maturing, and I needed a top up. So then I brought in those consultants again, because now there were new challenges that were coming up. So once I identified the challenges, and they do manifest, you know, it's important for you to kind of like do an update all the time, you know, because the systems do get uploaded, you know, so that's also very good.
Sorry, when you say the challenges do manifest, could you expatiate, cite examples? What are the things you saw that made you to realize, okay, at this point I need consultants to come?
When things start going on and repeatedly, then you know that you need to start taking critical attention to some of the mistakes that are happening. So those are the areas. And as a business owner, you must be in tune with your business. I don't know whether I'm making sense, but as a business owner, your intuition, your emotional intelligence. So I'm so in touch with my business that when things start going, I'm able to smell it out even before it happens. So my staff actually think I'm probably a witch or something. But they start to know and I smell it. So, I think it's just the grace of God that's telling you, because you know that you're giving it your all. So your intuition, it's so, and you have to listen to it. Once you do, it opens things to you. Yeah.
I know you've probably said this while you were talking,
Yeah.
but I'd like to ask again, how old is your company?
We're almost 15 years now.
15.
Yes.
Good. I know at the very beginning you probably were involved in everything.
Yes.
Okay. But at what point did you begin to pull back, and to what did you pull back to?
Okay, that's a good one. Well, about 3 years ago, I decided to step back a bit. Big mistake. The managers that I had hired decided they would form a dummy company within the business. Yeah. And so you ask yourself, you're trying to, because you can't be everywhere, it's draining. But our people, sorry to say, are really not trustworthy.
I find that really strange with the level of religiosity to call it wherever it goes on. I can't reconcile the fact that, I mean, the white man does not believe in a God.
Yes,
But
yes.
it's very
Yeah, but our people,
disciplined and
it was a big mistake. Big mistake. And I'm fortunate enough to consult my mom, who is an entrepreneur. She has a school in Botswana, and her school is about 20 years old. So we speak, and at 71, by 6:30 she's in school. Because she had her accountant organizing armed robbers to steal her whole term's school fees. This is about 350 kids. Yes. So she said to me that you step back, but you don't totally step back. You make sure that you keep an eye on everything. Everything. But you must have systems in place which will allow you to monitor. So I think monitoring is very, very, very important. I mean, I don't mean to scare you, but I haven't come this far for nothing. I always say that I have worked. I have really worked, and so,
Definitely. I mean, you seem to be a pioneer in your area of work. I'm yet to see really another company like yours who are really broken through.
Yeah.
And so now that we're talking about your camp demanding 100,000.
Yeah.
How do you share your success with your? Does it have any relation? How well you have done, and how your employees or your colleague managers, deal with that success, and whether they feel it's a cordial company thing, or we all accept that you are the person who had the vision. It's your company, so
That's a very good point too. One thing, my experience working, I don't know whether it's a level of mindset, but I realized that after a while they start envying you. I don't know whether they start envying you almost. It's as if this, with all this business coming in, and we are working for her, and she is making all the money. So you find just a handful being loyal to you. I don't know whether it's peculiar to my business because of the level of people.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
it's
not.
not.
It's not.
Take that from
So it's an African thing again.
Yes.
But
Just African.
It's not
I
just
know, but
Africa.
just that, and I'm thinking, gosh, look, sometimes I don't even have 10 CDs in my bag, and I'm thinking, you at the end of the month, I pay you, I'm paying your SNP, everything that has to be given to you, I give to you. And so now I don't care what they think. I own the business because I have sweated yes to own it. If you don't feel like you belong to the organization, then maybe you're in the wrong place. Find yourself somewhere else. And there have been a few who have also come through and they've worked from within, and those people have gone on to do very well for themselves. And so what I tell them that if you're working with somebody and you don't give up your 100%, when you set off on your own, it'll be done to you. That's how I take it, really. You learn how to detach and you don't get emotional about anything. Yeah.
Alright, sorry. I don't know whether it happens here in
Yeah.
Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
but back home in Nigeria, the entrepreneur is under fire.
Yeah.
We're talking of spurious state officials
Yeah.
coming in to find one thing faulty every week, just so that they must just take a cut.
Yeah.
You're talking about, if I stupid things, policemen coming in and saying,
Yeah.
you know, your office is far from the police station. So, you know, you should be taking care of those of us that are, you know, how do you deal with stuff like that? Because here you are, you get to the office before 7 and you're sweating.
Yeah. And once
Sometimes-
somebody comes and just, yeah.
Wow.
One thing I did very, I don't pay bribes to anybody. Do I even have enough to go around? I should be, yeah, no. So you make sure that all your statutory things are in order.
Please.
As soon as you walk into the reception, fire certificates, VAT certificates, everything framed. And I make sure that it is renewed in time. SNIT is paid in time. And it's funny, but those officers who realize that, this one, she's so squeaky clean that, so don't give them that chance. Make sure that everything is done. And once you know that you've done everything that has to be, you know, you're according to the law, when they walk in, you can walk them out. First thing you walk in, I say, do you have a letter from your boss? You know, you are coming to inspect what? Where is that letter? Where is your ID? Once you let them know that you know what they leave you alone. And I realized very early on that I give a lot of interviews, you know, in a lot of magazines and today this. Once you start becoming a bit public and you know, attention comes on you, the taxman and all these people like, oh, so make sure that everything is covered. That gives you then the confidence to go out because you know you don't have anything to hide. You know, that's it.
Obviously, we're close to a police station.
Yesterday, when we had an event, and because we work in the community, I make sure that the community is very much involved with everything. So I'm on very good terms from the assemblyman to the chief to the police commandant, the area boys. You are good to everybody, and so you have protection. You know, yeah, it's very very important. Yeah.
He's very hardworking. He's done a few interviews and he was on air a few months back.
I mean, my mom is a school teacher, My mom is she's a disciplinarian. Nothing impresses her, and one thing she taught us. Yeah, one thing she taught us is, you know. Nothing impresses her. You're forever thinking, oh, okay, I thought I've done this, and she's not impressed. You know, it keeps you